What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So I noticed that ever since Lawn Mowing Next Door, there you go, I'm gonna call it by its old name, that grass looks greener, there you go, just to make you happy. Ever since that card was unbanned in the last ban list, I never really made a video on it, and I figured I would take this opportunity to kind of give you guys my thoughts and insight on this card. What kind of decks can play the card, and also, is the card really that good, or is it a little overhyped? Alright, so first things first, this card is probably the kind of card that you're only playing in 60 card decks, because if you're playing 60 and your opponent's playing 40, you're milling 20 cards with this card, which is a lot, but you can also play this card in like 50 card decks and only mill 10, and that's still double, you know, the value of Needlebug's Nest, so nothing forces you to only play this card in 60 card decks. Not to mention that you can generically side this card in going second, even in like 40 something card decks, because most decks they're going through a lot of cards in their opening combo, so you can still mill a bunch of cards. So don't close your mind to the reality that Grass Looks Greener is only playable in 60 card decks. It is a little better than that overall. And I have seen some like 44 card decks even sometimes main decking this card. Yo, I swear to God, some people are really trying to squeeze in as much value as they possibly can. Anyways, this card is an unsearchable Saki one-of for the most part, but there are two cards that can kind of search it with, not really with ease, but kind of. Triple Tactic Thrust is, I want to say, the better one, because it doesn't have a cost, it only has an activation requirement, but it's only really good if your opponent controls a monster. So if you're going second, these two cards, this into this, can be absolutely nasty at breaking boards. It's pretty much like one of the best ways of really getting your stuff going, because again, going first, a lot of decks, a lot of combo decks, they're going through so many cards that you're pretty much milling a bunch of cards every single time. And also, if your opponent used Pot of Desires, you're going to be milling an extra 10 cards because your opponent has even less cards in deck. Yes, it's really nice. And Left Arm Offering is the only other way of searching that Grass Looks Greener that at least I can think of that is realistic. There might be some like dog shit ways of searching this card, but it's not really worth it. And this card gets ashed every single time, and you're always gonna die, and you're gonna be really angry because you can't set cards and then use Left Arm Offering. Yes, that's a huge drawback. Anyways, which kind of decks are trying to play that Grass Looks Greener, and is that card really good in those decks? Well, the first example would be Despia. That deck was naturally gravitating towards 60 card decks anyway, so it's not like this card really makes the deck worse. If anything, it increases consistency because you can foolish cards like Bestial Saruni or Retribution, and then you foolish Branded Fusion, and then you recycle it back. So that's even more copies of Branded Fusion in a way, because it's only a one-of. It's also really good in Infernoids, I guess, if you're trying to play Infernoids. And you might as well play Reasoning and Monster Gate, which, by the way, I think they should get unlimited at this point. I think these cards are not really seeing much play. Not a lot of decks can play those cards, so... But these decks are the kind of decks that especially are good because of other engines like Snake Eye and Feedsmith, so it's not really like you can say that this card really breaks anything, because it only really makes the Infernoid cards better. And Fairy Tail Snow is banned, which was the main reason why this card got banned in the first place. Now, another deck that also historically abused that Grass Looks Greener, Lawn Mowing there, that's so much better, man. It really does feel better. Is Lightsworn. Shoutouts to Jesse. The first time I met him at a regional in Ottawa in 2017, if you're watching this, shoutouts to you. Yeah, I played 60 card Infernoid Zodiac, he played 60 card in Lightsworn Zodiac. His deck was just so much better than my deck in a Lawn Mowing Mirror, because I couldn't mill since he had the same amount of cards, but he had a lot of other ways of milling cards like Minerva, Charge of the Light Brigade. He could go Left Arm Offering to search Soul Charge, whereas I didn't really have anything else. Now, things are completely different now. If you used Lawn Mowing in Lightsworn, you're always gonna eat that Shifter. It's still a really good card, although I think most Lightsworn builds are probably just playing 40 cards anyways. So I think this card, if anything, maybe you want to play like 45, 50 card Lightsworn, not necessarily 60 card Lightsworn, just because the format is no longer the same and you really need some non-engine cards if you want to have a fair shot going second. Anyways, Tear Elements, another deck that can abuse Lawn Mowing to a certain extent. I mean, it's really good if you resolve it. Imagine if you go that Grass Looks Greener and your opponent chains Shifter and then you banish all three names. They're just at one, so that's my issue. Another deck that is, again, naturally playing 60 cards anyways, or at least was Dragon Link. That one had a lot of, like, different builds over the years. 40 cards, 60 cards. Yeah, you can mill a bunch of cards that have good effects, like Absol Router, Seifert, Raid Raptor, yeah, that can kind of play Lawn Mowing, because my build had, like, 44, 46 cards. You can mill Fuzzy, you can mill Mimicry, you can mill Raider's Wing, Bloom Vulture, the Trap card. Yeah, there is definitely a bunch of decent graveyard effects. Ubel is a deck that can play 50 cards, as we have seen from Ruben's deck list from Worlds. So yeah, if you can at least Lawn Mowing for 10 cards, it's not bad. You can at least like mill like a Ubel and a Fiend with 0 attack and 0 defense, so you can make Phantom of Ubel. Or if you get really lucky, you can mill Grave Squirmer. The drawback is milling like Nightmare Pain and also milling your opening of the Spirit Gates. That way you have absolutely 0 grind game because you can't recycle back your Nightmare Pain, so you're screwed. So I don't really recommend Lawn Mowing in a deck like this one, just because it's a combo deck that has a lot of combo pieces that you absolutely cannot afford to mill. But honestly, sometimes it's not really gonna be the end of the world for you. Yeah, Lawn Mowing in any combo pile deck like I don't know, Scareclaw, Visas, Manadium, whatever, that could be decent. There's a lot of nice cards to dump in the graveyard. And by the way, if I missed anything that can abuse Lawn Mowing, you just let me know in the comment section. It's gonna help us, all of us out. Anyways, there's also some trap decks and trap cards overall that can benefit off of this card. So Paleozoic, shoutouts to Joshua Schmidt. Eldritch, that's not too bad. A lot of graveyard effects. Labyrinth overall, there is big welcome. Transaction rollback with some other stuff. There you go. And the furnitures. Black Gold Laughs, great card that you can mail. You can also mail this in Lightsworn or Tier, whatever, and then Breakboard is going second. In order to beat Den by Dragon, you can also mail Rise to Full Height. And now for the main drawback of Lawn Mowing decks, they usually cannot play hand shafts because they kind of conflict a little bit with the strategy, so they have to play Board Breakers instead. And like I said, if you are playing That Grass Looks Greener, you really have to commit to like triple tactic thrust and everything, otherwise it's just not worth it. It's gonna be an unsearchable one of in a 60 card deck, which translates to like an 8% chance of drawing it maybe, which is just not good enough. You might as well commit to like Thrust, Talent, Dark Ruler, Joblet, etc., just so that you play all Board Breakers and all gas. By the way, if you can find a way to like Foolish or mail this card and then recycle it back with Diabelle, Queen of the White Forest, that could be really good. So if you guys have figured any combos with maybe searching this card in other ways, I also really want to hear them in the comment section below. But yeah, that's all I had for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.